some funds for that, and then we had an anonymous donor come in and just say, you know what, this community's been good to me.
That anonymous donor used to work for my father.
I understand that.
And he used to ride the hay baler, and he would twist the wire and did a lot of things, cut bushes, and he's always reminded me of that every time I see him. And his family, I've known them for many, many years. And, of course, I had my phone turned off. I know you tried to call me, but I had my phone turned down. And when I got home and I got out and you got a hold of me, I looked and I had a flat tire. So I knew I couldn't make it back. But that gentleman, we will get in touch with him. And but it was great. Yesterday, had a chance to, we got there early because we was talking about some things we had to do. I mean, it's come down to, we had two new ones. We had Devin, who had moved to Chicago. Well, he's back. Mikey, both of them had moved, and both of them are back home now with us. And then we had a new young man. Mateo.
He's a sweetie.
And Mateo was in there and gave him basketball before everyone else got there. There were several little ones in there. Well, you know, he listened. I said, don't go over your head with the ball, dribble it. And he kept getting real close on making a basket. And before practice is over, he had made a basket. And, you know, that smile, that look on his face is what it's all about. But, yes, I mean, we had some great donations. Talking to the teachers, some of the teachers there at the elementary school yesterday, we talked about how generous this community is. And I'm going to throw, I mean, we are. You know, the Optimist Club, Community Disciples, you just start naming off different organizations, and this community steps up and helps. That's not the case last year with every community. Last year, I was talking to some of them that we had teams that we had played before. Well, they were talking about struggling. They were talking about, you know, not having enough funding to do the things that are necessary, like the uniforms, like the overnight stays. I got to throw this out. Tess, Lisa, Jeff, yesterday, you know, we looked at our roster. We picked up two more. So now we're, 19 players and 3 or 4 cheerleaders. So
we had 4 cheerleaders yesterday.
We're looking at close to 25.
Yeah.
And I believe, because we had more calls yesterday about athletes, special needs athletes out of this county wanting to come to our program. Okay? I mean, and right now we have some that are 2 different counties other than Caldwell. But, you know.
And they're not even there yet.
No. And we're talking about overnight stay. So I said, Vicki, I said, if we divide this up, and I said, this A team, if we go to the state, I said, I just don't feel comfortable about some of the rest of them not going. She said, oh, don't worry about that. Said, if we have a team to go to the state, said every one of these athletes are going to go to state. So, you know, when we're talking about 3 to a room plus chaperones, it takes quite a bit of money. And again, our bowling is going December the 6th. Mm-hmm. They're headed to state. And so that takes quite a bit. We have track and field. Shout out to our friends down in Marshall County, one of our former students here, Essie Trimble. Her son plays, and they won the state flag football just 2 weeks ago, I think.
Bless their hearts.
So,
and they are pretty good buds of ours, even in
bowling.
Yeah,
they are.
Well, we end up, you know, next to each other a lot at a lot of the tournaments, even in bowling. And you get to know the kids and the parents and the people from the other counties around. And, you know, that's a pretty good bond.
It is. I mean, that was the first group, the first year, as Vicki has pointed out, and Tess knows, we started at ground zero.
Yeah.
I mean, we were Absolutely. And I'm going to finish a story I started. I'm like you, I start the one. My mind. Last week you asked me how I got involved. Mm-hmm. Well, Allison Seymour, she called and wanted to know if I'd help. So I said yes. And so I went. And the first practice, I gave them this, I pointed out all the different, high post, low post, free throw line extended, elbow, free throw line, all of those things that are necessary to have a better understanding of the game. Well, I went back the next practice, and I looked, and I gave them a sheet of paper. So I took it, and I started pointing to all these different places on the court. Well, those kids were just, right off. Yes, that's a free throw line, high extended, elbow, low post, high post, free throw line, baseline, sideline. And I thought, if these students are willing to learn that within a week's time, I better spend my time out here working with them. So we did, and we started, like I said, Allison, we had 2 or 3 helping. Got a picture this week of the second year we went to state. First year we went and competed in the drills while at state competition, but didn't get to participate in the game. So second year we were fortunate enough to win. We were runner-ups in the region, so we got to go. And this past week I was handed a picture of Caitlin, and Allison, myself, Jason was in it, Katie Beth, Mikey. It was a picture they took up there of us getting ready to receive our trophy. So, that was great. But this community, outstanding, just super. You can't say enough about them. I wish we had big banners we could put up all over town saying, thank you to this community, to our organizations, to the banks, to the food services, everything. So it's great.
Well, and I'll tell you, some of the last year we looked at it. We could look over in the bleachers last year during practice, and maybe we didn't see very many people and very many parents. And I looked over there yesterday, and when we were about ready to leave, and I thought, wow, that's good attendance for just a basketball game.
It is.
But we have grown and. Thank God, we're able to do that, and hey, bring them. We're gonna love them, and we're gonna do the best we can.
If you're listening and you have a family member or know of someone that would like to participate, like I say, we have bowling, track and field, and of course basketball is what I'm involved in, and but we've got something going on almost year round. And then, of course, this year with our cheerleaders. So if you've got someone, Vicky Purcell, let me throw this out too. We have Melinda Ezel Woolsey. She is one of our big supporters. She's the one that transports our students and the coaches around Louisville, different places when we go, Paducah, Murray. And she has some health problems developed yesterday, I think, at school. So if you're out there, we'd appreciate you keeping her in your prayers and thoughts. But it's a family, and like you say, if you've got someone, bring them.
Well, and I don't want them to say, well, you know what? They can't do basketball. They're not, they just don't, they can't do things like that with their hands. I'm going to tell you what, my son was the poster child for, he did not want any part of it. And now he's the poster child for let her rip, Tater Chip.
He's up and down the court. You tell him, hey, take a ball to Jason, take a ball to Mikey, take a ball, and he's going. He knows where he's going, and he makes that pass.
His dexterity.
Yeah.
It has helped his attitude. It has helped his social skills. It's helped everything. And that, we see some of them come in, like especially with basketball, and they can't dribble and they can't do a lot of those things. But yes, they can when they leave.
Yes.
And we've experienced that a lot here lately. The last 2 weeks, there's been several kids that couldn't when they got there, but they were dribbling, but with one hand when they went home.
That, like you say, if you're a parent, a guardian, and you think, well, I don't think my child will, could do this. Well, yes, they can.
And they
Like
don't have
you
to be
said-
5 either.
Oh,
this
no.
is a, we say kids, but
Well,
I mean
it
some
goes
of them
on,
are
yeah,
adults.
Yeah. Oh, yes. And, they're all kids to me. But,
That's what I call them
Yeah.
all kids,
But you're right. We do have some. I guess Jason's our oldest one in the 40s, and
of course, we got Casey.
Casey, and then the youngest ones yesterday. I don't know how old they were.
I don't. Well, it was. I don't. Bentley's little brother. I don't know how old he is, but I had him running up and down.
Yeah.
We have a good time, and it's more of a family than it is a team in so many ways. And the kids love each other. And we had one little boy that was a little scared yesterday. It was a new thing for him.
Mm-hmm.
And I had 2 or 3 of the other players go, "Oh no, it's okay. Come play with me. Are you okay?" And they're concerned about each other.
And Andrew, one of our players from over at Hopkins County, he to piggyback on what you said, a couple of them that were not fully participating were a little afraid. He said, "Hey, come here and stand by me, buddy.
Yeah.
I'm your buddy. Come here." And he encouraged them. He was tying shoes yesterday for some of the younger ones. That's what it's all about. And the volunteers, we can always use volunteers.
We're growing. We need.
You can background check. You have to have certification. Those tests are nothing. You got to go online and take the test and read the description of the things that you can do and how to treat people and then take a little test. But if you would like to help, because we're going to have to go to 2 practice. Yesterday we talked about our older, those that have been there maybe 3 years, 4 years.
Right.
We've got to start working with them on team concept because we do have about 3 new ones this year that haven't played with us before. And then the younger ones, we've got to work with them on developing their skills.
Right.
And so we will have to go to 2 practice, and that's okay because we do. The younger ones coming up, we want them to enjoy it. We want them to have fun.
Well, and it's just like any basketball team, really. You've got one that, one section of them that may be a little more higher skilled at it and have been advanced because they've been playing for several years. But then you've got those that just started. So, I mean, you can't. Sometimes, I mean, it's great to all get together and to do it, but I think the more we grow, the more we're realizing that, some of them need a lot more, individualized attention, and we can't do that when everybody is there. So I think it's going to be a good thing. I really do. But hey, what a great problem to have.
True. And like you said, we're expecting more. Mm-hmm. We are expecting probably maybe 2 more to come join us, and that's fine. I mean, I have no problem with that. My only concern is just what you said. We got to work on those skills. We got to help those younger ones develop, because you can look at these older athletes, Joy and Lincoln, Mikey, Devin, Katie
Andrew.
Beth, those that have been there with us for a while, Jason, the improvement that they made since that first year.
Oh, my goodness.
And last year, we defeated 4 teams that we had never come close to defeating before. And then I will express I was disappointed when they moved us up to the highest bracket that you can go into and still stay in Tier 2. And we went up there and run into 2 teams that had been playing for years, and they were older than we were. And right after the tournament, one of those teams got moved to Tier 1, and 4 players off the other one got moved to Tier 1. And people, Tier 2 is maybe like a JV team our high school team in Tier 1 would be, I mean, I'm not comparing them to a college team, but that would be the break that I would reference to. We have student athletes from 2 or 3 different counties that have been moved to Tier 1. I know we have some from Hopkins County, and they've called wanting to come over here. Well, you know, we don't have enough to make a Tier 1. So this year they're getting left out. So who knows? Next year we may have a Tier 1 team to go along with what we have this year.
I got my whistle. I'm ready.
Yeah, but our first tournament's December 14th. We are at Marshall County, and looks like we'll be playing at least 2-3 games with the older group, 2 games with the younger group. Then Christmas break, and then we come back January 16th is our tournament here. We call it the Winterfest here in Caldwell County.
And we've got more games this year too,
oh,
right?
yes, we're going to Ohio County to play. We'll be in Trigg County, back to Marshall County. And so we've got more games this year than we've had in the past. But our tournament, the Winterfest, January 16th, we're looking for sponsorship on our shirts we give out. Last year, I think we had nearly 400 shirts. Every participant, athlete, even some of those that don't come, may be ill. We'll go back to, I don't know when the Marshall County shooting was, 2 or 3 years ago. But one of the individuals that was wounded in that shooting was a Special Olympics athlete. And we had 6 teams here, and we had a basketball that every member signed, scribbled, coaches, all of those. He wasn't able to attend, but we sent that basketball back with him and the picture of him holding that basketball, and we sent a shirt back with him. So, if you'd like to be a sponsor, I know Bridgie Miller and Janice are always, individuals that like to do it. We have a lot of our county officials that make a contribution, $25. Woodman of the World and the Optimist Club, 2 of our big ones that make donations. But, if you're out there, again, if you'd like to sponsor our tournament, anything $25 on up would be appreciated. Now, I got to throw it out. Yesterday, Beth Mann, we were talking about Beth and WPKY and the Katy station, great supporters of ours. So, and the Caldwell County school system. So again, go back to our community
yeah, because that
support.
stuff's not free. I mean, we have to have actual referees. I mean,
we do.
that's something that we have to have. So you have to have your referees for those tournaments. You have to have the facilities. I mean, there's a lot of people and a lot of working parts, to one of those tournaments, because there are. Normally, you don't have to have as many considerations for some things as you do when you run Special Olympics. And, we would need to worry about, where can the athletes that don't walk well, where do they come through at, So, I mean, we have to make sure that those things are in place. And luckily, it always works so well, and we have so many people that love these kids up here that show up for
Andrea and Dave Forster, they coordinated the tournament the last 2 years. Super job. And we'll be talking about this as we get closer to the tournament, but our parents, guardians, lots of times they're the ones working the concession stand. So we're going to be looking for volunteers to come in and work. And Beta Club, National Honor Society, a lot of those boys, I know Tori and Jennifer, their sons, they've been down there. A lot of those kids, they're not kids, they're students from the high school, are down there, and they take responsibility. They help us with the shirts. They help us with the concessions.
They were helping us clean up and work the broom afterwards, because that's even got to be done.
One of my favorites, Darren Boyd, our some of those basketball players, they were down there. They helped referee, and so it's again, we go back to the community effort, the community involvement in helping us. So.
Well, and it's a good opportunity if you're a coach of a basketball team or that if you have a team. Last year we brought in. I happened to coach a 5th and 6th grade boys team last year, and I said, that's a great opportunity. Let's go practice. You had offered up, to let them come. And I will tell you, they were humbled in so many ways, but they enjoyed it so much when we blended just a normal 5th, 6th grade, basketball team with, that's youth incorporated, with Special Olympics. And we went and did a couple of practices together. And the kids just loved it. But it gives them a new appreciation. And they said, wow, those kids work really hard, don't they? Well, yeah, they do.
They do.
And in a lot of ways, they work harder, because they want it more. It's not easy, and they know that. So, I mean, that was something that I thought, with the rest of the teams and the members, if you've got some teams that want to come to this tournament and help run the concession stand and help these kids out, I think that would be fantastic.
Yeah. Daniel Kukuhiko, he has brought his high school team down a couple times to assist and to work with those. The players would pair up with one of our athletes and they'd work on some things. So it's great. And like I said, we're going to that after Thanksgiving. We'll be going to a practice. 2 different practice. I don't know whether it'd be the same day or whether it'd be different days, but if someone wants to help, contact Vicki. And let me throw my phone number. I know y'all had it. I got a new phone. My old phone got bailed up in Bella
I don't
Hay.
throw people's numbers out because I don't want people getting mad at me.
But Ty's got my new number, so he can post that and contact me. But volunteers will take.
We need them.
Yep.
And I'm going to be honest about that because we do. We're going to need some people. The more that we grow, the more people that it takes to make that run. And, we need them. We do. If you're a coach, maybe you're retired, hey, come talk to us.
Right.
Because, it's going to take more than us looking at each other at some point.
Well,
We're going to need some help.
Yesterday, we had to... divide the 4 of us, 2 on one end, 2 on the other, and to keep our athletes moving. You get a downtime. Ty knows this. You know it. If you have some just sitting there or standing there, nothing's being accomplished. So yesterday we were up and down the court.
Part of it's conditioning too, and
yes, I mean that's
health-wise for a lot of these. And again, I call them kids. I can't help it; they're my babies, every single one of them. Jason, I know he's not a baby anymore, but he's my baby.
Yeah.
But these, it's so good for them, health-wise, for the conditioning. And I'll tell you, when they first started, some of these kids, they can't hardly run,
Oh, no.
But by the time, I wish you would have seen Emily yesterday, man. She could run 100 mile an hour dribbling that ball. And I'm telling you, that's it's the health condition of, these kids that are playing that it gets better when they're playing. And they're continuing throughout the year.
I got a little of that conditioning in yesterday.
I run a lot. I can't.
Elijah, I was trying to... Elijah is a new one for us this year, and I was trying to keep up with him, and that was impossible to do because he is fast, he is quick, and that would be. But
they humble us
right.
every week.
So I just kind of stood at half court and said, "Tess, throw the ball to him." You and Lisa and Jeff were on the other end, so. It's great.
I was going to ask you, Roy Jean, it's been several years, but, growing up here, I don't know when exactly Special Olympics kind of became an active part of our community. It's always been kind of in and out, but is there a little bit of history about
Well, let's.
The activity of this particular group and when it really got on a roll?
I don't know whether y'all are old enough, but I remember when Jim and Hillrich and his wife.
Yes,
we
exactly.
called it Hilltop.
Hilltop School. Yes, that's what I remember.
And thank goodness, let me go. When I started teaching, we were separate. There wasn't any attempt to incorporate those with special needs into our regular classroom. Well, that started maybe in the mid-'80s, something of that nature. And it was great. But then our Special Olympics did not develop until 5 years ago.
Okay.
And Vicki was alluding to that. The first practice we had, we sat down with the parents and she went over something, the history. I think they met at one of the fast food restaurants. The balance was 0. And there was, I think, 4 or 5 that were involved. And we went bowling, was established. I was not part of it then. I came on with the basketball program that year. But 5 years ago, I believe, was the
kind of the inception here in Caldwell County for an organized group, because it's an international organization.
Oh, yes,
and
very much so.
And nationally, I mean, there's a full-fledged Olympics.
It is,
and so that's just fantastic. And boy, to be around those athletes, it's an inspiration, because I know I've been out and seen some bowling and the basketball
and
last year, especially So
oh yeah, you want to see something fun. Don't get me wrong, we're in the middle of basketball season, so that's kind of what we're talking about too. But bowling. You want to see something fun, you go watch these kids bowl. I mean, the smiles on their faces. Katie Beth, some of my favorite pictures of Katie Beth is when she's turned around smiling coming off the lanes at bowling. They're just they have so much fun. They really do.
Well, Caitlin was one of those that was featured on Channel 6 last year, I think, when they were down there at Cardinal Lane or whatever it's called now. And there was memories of that was popping up of her. But the bowling, track and field. I went with them the first year to track and field, Eastern Kentucky, other side of the world almost. But these athletes marched in all different color uniforms, and this young lady that she sang the national anthem at several different sporting events. Well, she's special needs, and she got up there on that stage and she sung. And you talking about bringing tears to your eyes when you turn. We were Caldwell County, one of the very first. We were at the bottom. But you turn around, you look, and there was wheelchairs at the top, athletes in wheelchairs. There were police cars with their lights on. Those sort of things are an inspiration, I know, to those that help. To those
it'll give you chills because when they say anything about the Star Spangled Banner, or we're going to do our national anthem. These are people that we see, and people. It's always in the news about people not participating in that. But I'm going to tell you, in a bowling alley, on a field, no matter where these kids are or these adults are, they are scrambling to get out of their wheelchair to stand up. It may hurt them, but they want to do it, and they will stand at attention with their hand over their heart, and they're going to sing, and they're going to make sure that's something that they do because they love their country very much. And you want to see some patriotism, you go to one of those functions.
But 5 years ago was it that we started.
Fantastic. Well, I know it's going to be a great basketball season, and looking forward. What about the Optimist Club? We've got some things coming up. Let's touch on that just a little bit. Of course, we're gearing up.
Let's take a break real quick, and then we'll come back and talk Optimist Club.
That's fine. We'll do
that. How about that? Hey, 1580 WPKY.
Yeah.
1580 103.3 WPKY, Tess and Ty and Coffee Talk at 8:45. And hey, you know what? We have a whole bunch of new athletes, and so we just wanted to make sure that everybody knows that we are still taking donations, and that the sponsorships are still needed. So we've grown even since last week, which is a great problem to have. And you know what? The Optimist Club is a big partner with Special Olympics as far as donations. They're also a big partner throughout our county and Princeton in itself and everything that we do in this community, and we sure do appreciate them as well. And, you know, we have a lot of partners all across the county that help us out every single year, and we do appreciate that, those group of people, and thank them as well. So you know, I do have an Optimist Club member right here beside me. So you guys were talking about the Optimist Club, and everything going good from here forward, right? We got through Black Patch.
Yep, just had a great Black Patch, and then of course we've coming up. We do a birth kind of a Christmas party for the folks out at Penny Royal Industries. We'll be doing that, and of course we'll be gearing up right after the first of the year for our radio auction. And so just want everybody we certainly appreciate all the donations last year. It was a really, really successful auction, one of the best ones we've had in years, and we're hoping that this one coming up in 2020 is going to be
It's going to be fun.
Yeah,
you and I are going to be there, I guarantee.
And
there will be fun had.
Yeah, there'll be...
you know who else is fun?
Who's that?
We always get a kick out of it. I think there's going to be somebody that'll end up, you know, spooking him or talking about leaves or that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And who have we got?
We've got David Sullenger, head of public works, City of Princeton. And David, good morning. Thanks for joining us over the phone. How are you, sir? Yeah, are you there? Nope. Let's see.
Hello?
I don't think David's there yet. We'll try him here in just a second. I'm going to try. David, you out there listening? I'm going to call you back. Tess, keep talking.
Well, that's not a problem.
Okay. Tell them about turkey bowling.
Oh, well, yeah, the turkey bowling is going to be a whole lot of fun. And, of course, we've got people that were signing up for that as we speak. Actually, we have this little sound effect. So if you hear our turkey gobbling in the morning, and it's going to be very clear because we can't help but make fun of it when we do it. When you hear that, all you have to do is call and you can get registered. Now, we're going to end up drawing to see who our turkey bowling finalists are going to be. So make sure that you get registered to become one of those finalists. Now, if you've been chosen to be a finalist, that means that you have to be there on location and ready to bowl. So when you register, you can go to Food Giant right here in Princeton, and you can register that way right there and put your name in that cooler, right? And wait a minute,
there you go.
I turned your button off.
I think we got David back there.
So anyway, you can go down there and you can register by throwing your name in the hat, and hopefully you can become one of those finalists, or you can wait till the turkey gobbles, and we'll take your registration by winning that.
There's David Sullenger. How are you,
David
sir?
Sullenger.
I'm good.
I'd run out of things to talk about. No, not really. I'm playing, not really. So what have you got, you know, as far as the Public Works Department goes, who come up with this whole leaf thing? Because I think that's a great idea.
It is. I mean, we've been doing it for several years, and what we do is we collect them, and then we take them to the Caldwell County Recycle, and then they sell it. You know, they sell it for the compost and all, and there's a pretty big task in taking care of the leaves. They have to have somebody certified, and they have to turn all the leaves and they have to test them before they can sell them. But it works out good for us, gives us a place, and it's a good community service for us picking them up. So it works very well.
Cleans everything up, and because some people would say, you know what? Well, if they're going to if they're going to turn them in and make money off of them, why do I want to give them my leaves? Because it's easier than that, right? I mean, it's not as easy as that, rather. I mean, there's whole steps that you guys have got to go through that most residents are not going to want to go through.
Exactly, and and the thing of it is, a lot of people try to burn them, which is fine. They can legally do it. We cannot legally. I mean, it's hard. We can't legally dispose of them pretty much other than doing compost with them. The laws are a lot more stricter on us as what we can and can't do with leaves, which doesn't make much sense, but that's the way it is. And besides that, if you burn them, you make your neighbors mad with the smoke and always have a chance of catching something else on fire.
Well, and it's a lot easier just to bag them, and especially with something like this going on, than and help out our community at the same time.
Yes, and that's the thing. We'll pick bag leaves up, and you don't even have to bag them. A lot of people don't like to do it because they don't want the expense of buying the trash bags, which I understand. But all we ask is that you rake your leaves out to the curb. To try not to block the sidewalk too bad where people can't walk, and try not to load a ditch up, especially if we're getting ready to have a rain. But like I said, the weather looks pretty good for us next week, and we ought to be able to do get a lot of them done. We ask everybody to try to have them out. It'll be this Monday coming up. Have them out first thing, and we'll be out. And the reason we used to try to split town up into two halves, but anymore, some people, we would have trouble staying busy in one section. This way we can just keep going. So that's the reason we're asking everybody to have them out Monday morning. And it looks like the weather's going to be nice this weekend, so hopefully everybody can get out and get their leaves. And most of them have fallen since we've had this last freeze.
David, how long do you anticipate, if the weather holds out, everybody has their leaves, how long, when you're starting Monday, how long do you anticipate the pickup to take place? Can you get it all done by the end of the week?
I don't think we'll get it all done by the end of the week. It takes, we have almost 100 miles of 80 to 100 miles of city streets, and by the time you have to go up and back down, so you're doubling that. So it takes us a while to do it, and it's a pretty big machine, and we have to do the flagging. We're on Main Street, so it just takes us a while. And with no breakdowns or nothing, I'm going to say 2 weeks.
Okay. That's awesome. It is a great service. And again, just want the do's and don'ts, to get your leaves raked toward the curb, not in the ditches or anything like that, and not where it can block folks that might be walking on the sidewalks and things like that, correct?
Exactly. And if you have a storm drain that's right there close by, we ask that you don't cover the storm drain. And that's another reason we like to do it, because that's one of our troubles, right? Of course, the city's in a bowl with a little bit of flooding we have. But if we clog them storm drains up, that's one of our big fights, and this way we keep everything pretty clean, and this time of year is tough on us.
Awesome. Well, man, thank you all for what you all do for us at Public Works. We can't thank you enough, and keeping our city and our town just looking really great. And I know you got a meeting to get to, but thank you for taking the time this morning to alert us to that. We've been talking about it, and we appreciate the service that the city provides us. So thank you and your crew for us, okay?
Well, thank you, and we appreciate the job y'all do. We listen to you all the time.
Well, we appreciate
y'all do
that.
A great job.
Thank you, David. Have a great day.
All righty, you too.
All righty. That's Superintendent of Public Works, David Sullenger, and we appreciate those guys down at Public Works listening to us and doing what they do for us here in Princeton. We can't thank them enough. So thanks to David for joining us this morning.
Yeah, like I said, it's it's not an easy job, and I wouldn't want to do it. I don't like doing my own leaves, let alone doing an entire city's worth of leaves.
They got like a big old vacuum thing that comes down there and kind of
crazy.
Yeah, kind of neat.
I want one of those.
Oh man, I'd love to have one.
How much fun would that be? No, but it is a lot of work. I mean, don't get me wrong. Even when you got nifty little tricks there to be able to get them and suck them right up out of there like a giant vacuum cleaner, it's still a lot of work when you're talking about a city's worth.
Well, you heard him over 80 to 100 miles of streets and places to get to.
I don't think about that. Did you think about that?
No, you don't. You don't think about it when you're just kind of cruising down, and
that's a lot.
That's a lot.
Well, and then when you think about it too, I mean, not only are they doing that, but and some people, well, why don't they just suck them off my yard without me having to rake them up? No. You still got to put in a little bit of effort. So you go out there and rake them up, or maybe you've got leaf blowers are pretty popular now. Are you a raker or a leaf blower kind of guy?
I do a little bit of both, but I have a leaf blower, and I'll just kind of work mine down toward the road this weekend.
I will say the whole storm drain, I didn't even think about that till he said that, but yeah, the storm drain, it's a whole lot better than all these leaves and junk ending up down in the storm drains.
That's a big time issue because, as David mentioned, City of Princeton's kind of in a bowl.
Right.
They work really hard to keep our drains cleaned out, and then, of course, we have it's karst topography, so you have sinkholes and different drainage holes that they've worked really hard and have spent years kind of with the engineering of that aspect of the city but a few storm drains clogged up can really cause problems when these spring rains hit.
Well, and I hadn't even thought about it, to be honest. I mean, that was something that, I really hadn't thought about, and I guarantee a lot of other people hadn't really thought about. But that is definitely a huge benefit for this whole thing. So we appreciate them and all the job that they do. And the recycling. I mean, the fact that we can actually get more than one use out of this thing, and it can benefit the county in more than one ways, and, benefit the residents as well. That's a win-win. Win.
No doubt about it.
Would that be a win? Win? Win or
winner chicken dinner.
And it doesn't cost the residents anything. I like that too. Free and winning. I like that.
We certainly appreciate Roy Jean stopping by and getting us up to date.
Do.
We were going to talk Optimist Club a little bit more, but we hit the highlights. We can have him back for that. And of course, just looking forward to the end of the year and then turning our eyes to that radio auction.
Well, and I think, with everything that goes on, like this week, everybody says, "Oh, this week is so turned upside down." Well, it's because we had a weather event that we hadn't had, this year. This is our first winter weather event that we've had. So a lot of things got canceled. A lot of things got pushed around. And so I think everybody's kind of been rushing at the end of the week this week. But next week, hopefully everything will settle down. It looks like weather-wise, we're going to be settled. Doesn't look like really a whole lot of rain in the forecast, maybe until a slight chance on Wednesday night. But other than that, sunshine and 50s, we can handle that.
And then we get in toward the holidays, and then it's on.
Oh, it's on. Yeah, Donkey Kong. And that's but it doesn't seem like as much of a rush when it's the holidays because it's stuff you like to do.
That's true. Like to eat.
You like to eat, so Thanksgiving doesn't seem like it's too bad. And then we like Christmas, and so that doesn't seem too bad. And so we're like, you know what? We rush, but it's for a purpose that we don't mind too much. I think that's what it is. But I guess with anything, it's the way you look at it. But Thanksgiving time, I will say there is a lot of people in a lot of churches and organizations that are having their Thanksgiving meals and that sort of thing coming up over the next week or two. Sugar Creek Baptist Church, our church is having our Thanksgiving meal this weekend. So
we had ours last Sunday. So.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
If somebody is so inclined, come out and eat turkey with us. I happen to know the chick that's making the turkeys.
That's a good deal. Speaking of turkey, one more time, Turkey Bowling, Food Giant at WPKY have teamed up for Turkey Bowling 2019.
Why do you squint every time you say that?
Because I'm excited.
I'm telling you, you know what? I bet this is what I looked like when football season started, isn't it? That's how excited he is. It's so cute. Well, it's going to be a whole lot of fun, though, and it's something that I don't know if I remember having here any time recently. So this is going to be a whole lot of fun.
That's why the anticipation is real. So you'll have a chance to register on the air. We're going to be giving you a chance to do that on the air. But the big thing is you can go out to Food Giant yourself and walk in there when you're getting all your stuff and prepping and seeing, buying your groceries and checking out our little cooler there when you can walk in the door. And it's your registration box basically, and you can put your registrations in there and register right there at the desk when you walk in.
I just thought about it. Hey, on Sunday after you get out of church and you go out there to get your fried chicken, make sure that you sign.
Make sure you what?
Make sure you sign up for this while you're out there.
Yeah.
No, there's a line every Sunday after church. There just is. Yeah. So make sure you register while you're waiting in line.
You can do that.
And do that.
So, yeah.
Just telling the truth.
No doubt. But you can be, you need to be available. If you register, know that we're going to start Turkey Bowling. We're going to be on location there from 3 to 5 Friday. And then you need to show up if you're one of our lucky bowlers. We're going to have 3.
It'll be fun.
Right before 4 to get ready to bowl. You have to do your calisthenics, your warm-ups, I'm
going to bowl.
And,
I'm going to bowl one way or the other. It's going to be fun. And people, you can't beat me.
You might try a practice deal. You're running the show, so you're going to be working. You're going to be working. So, but we want spectators there. We want people cheering on our bowlers, and it's going to be a good time. That is coming up Friday. So be listening to WPKY for your cue to call in. You'll hear a turkey sound. We'll be playing that next week. We're going to take some registrations on the air, but go to Food Giant when you're there and just
what does
sign
that
up
sound
in the
like
box.
again?
I'm not going to do it. You've got
What?
it. You've got it. I'm not doing it
Come
again. You
on.
already just made fun of me squinting. So nope.
If that's the worst thing I do all week.
Nope, you already made fun of me squinting.
Okay.
So nope. We will use the sounder
Just one more time.
We'll use the
Come on, do it one more time.
I need my Lynch box call.
Come on.
It's not going to sound like that.
Gary he's worked so hard. He's in the tree stand. He wants to hear it one last time.
I'm not doing it.
Oh, that's great for the weekend. Send us off
and you're
with a bang.
streaming it.
That's right,
Yeah.
I am. 9 o'clock at 1580. Go to our website at WPKYonline.com and you can see his gobble live on our live feed. I love that. 9 o'clock on the dot with Tess and Ty at 1580 103.3 WPKY.
Serving Caldwell County since 1950. We're 1580 103.3 WPKY Princeton.
This is a Fox News alert. I'm Lillian Wu. Just as round 2 of public impeachment hearings gets underway, the White House releases a transcript of the first conversation between President Trump and President Zelensky of Ukraine on Capitol Hill. Lawmakers hearing testimony from former U.S. ambassador to the Ukraine this morning, Marie Yovanovitch, who was suddenly recalled by President Trump after